Welcome to Unit 3 of Transforming Healthcare through Business Intelligence and Predictive Analytics. This week, our focus will turn to business intelligence and analytic frameworks. We will be examining two models that can be used to implement analytics and build an analytics program in a healthcare organization. So far, we have spent time defining and understanding the problem and why healthcare is working to transform itself. We've been looking at the economic issues being faced by consumers and patients and organizations. And these economic issues are driving the adoption of analytics. So we can start to see the connection between financial, clinical data, measurement, and understanding our whole patient population and how this ultimately impacts patient care processes. For week 3, we will look at what is needed to build analytic capabilities and what the analytic capabilities are and the impact analytics is having on healthcare. One of the things you'll see when you study the two models is that most healthcare organizations still have a long way to go in building analytic capabilities. They've made a start. Some of them are very advanced, but many of them are still in some of the early stages of these analytic models. There's a strong focus on quality in healthcare. However, using data, such as data from the EMR, to drive decision making has only started to happen in the past few years. In order to use data, you have to have reliable and valid data. And this is one of the first stumbling blocks for healthcare. We struggle to get the data we need. You will start to see that data beyond what is stored in the EMR is needed to get the full picture of patient health. There are multiple data sources needed, and this becomes an issue in terms of how to incorporate various different data sources for analytics. I wanted to spend a couple minutes pointing out some of the things for you to keep in mind as you do your assignment this week. The Davenport article is one that you may want to read first. This is not an article specific to healthcare. It's a Harvard Business Review article, and Davenport is talking about competing on analytics. He's talking about a variety of different industries, but a lot of what he has to say can be valuable for us to apply in healthcare. He examines what competing on analytics is and also how to go about doing it. And he suggests creating a single analytics initiative in the organization so that data collection, data analysis, all of these pieces are together under one common leadership. So Davenport is asking the question, how do you deploy what he calls industrial strength analytics throughout your organization? I think the article provides some very good examples for us to think about. All of them may not apply in healthcare, but I think many of them could. So after reading this article, you will see what is going to be required of healthcare organizations as they really get going to compete on analytics and transform their organizations. So that's the Davenport article. Secondly, we're reading 5 book chapters this week, which I realize is a lot, but I think the material will be interesting to you, and it's really the heart of our topic for this course, so it's important for you to have all of this basic information. It's just hard to leave any of it out and still give you the background needed as we go forward into the next units. The chapters are not weighty, so I don't anticipate that you will have trouble getting through them, even though it is 5 chapters. Third, the readings by Sanders, I just want to point out that there is not much reading involved in those, but it's very important for you to take a good look at the model Sanders is presenting. And this goes for the other model that you will be reading about in the chapter 8 that I provide from another text. These models are very similar to the models that many organizations have followed for implementing electronic medical records. So they start at 0 and then you move up through the levels as you continue to deploy the various pieces of the EMR. In the article you'll be reading from Sanders, he's talking about the same concept, only it's analytics adoption. The important thing about the model and the other model is that it helps us to put all the pieces into place. We keep reading about all the different pieces that are involved with analytics, but how do they fit together? How do these models inform us about how to implement an analytics program? So I think the models will really help you think about all that it's going to take for these organizations to build analytic capabilities, get a sense of how the pieces fit together, and it provides a kind of a roadmap for organizations to follow. It's a roadmap that they might follow. This week in your discovery questions, we focus on these models, we focus on building an analytics program, and another question focuses on collaboration across organizations. These questions are designed to help take you from the theoretical, we're looking at models, to the concrete and practical. How do we apply the models? What steps would you actually take to build an analytics program? Try to imagine yourself in the decision-making role, and how would you proceed? When answering this DQ, students often focus on year 1 and then provide only 1 or 2 sentences on years 2 and 3. It's important to remember that not everything can be done in year 1. What's realistic? What would you save to year 2 and 3? Our Madsen text provides some excellent specifics on how to build a program over the years, over several years. We will be looking for you to build on what you read in Madsen and add your thoughts based on the models that you've studied this week. So go beyond what Madsen says and explain why you're making these recommendations for building an analytics program. Overall, our discussions have been very productive, so continue to bring good new information to the group. Keep doing that and use discussion to ask additional questions and challenge what we're reading so that you can continue to expand your discussion across the whole discussion period. Have a good week, and I look forward to our next discussion.